Every so often I get a recorder in for repair. This is one of them. From a recording studio local to me. They bought this machine, originally 1/4-inch tape stereo, which they converted for 8-track, but the person doing the conversion made a mistake somewhere, caused a lot of problems to the electronics, so the machine never functioned. The guy who was doing the conversion gave up, and the owner of the machine was looking for somebody else to fix the machine. Heard about me through contact, dropped the machine off to me, and I got it up and running for him. The average cassette recorder records at 1 7/8 inches a second. This recorder is set to play at 3 3/4, which is twice the speed. Now for the reels turning that slow, if you imagine them turning half slower again, and you'd have the same speed as a cassette. The Studer A810 also plays at that very slow speed, but also runs at the more commonly used 7.5 and the professionally used 15, but it also runs at the studio mastering speed of 30, which looks like this. You can see the speed difference. If I drop that down to 3 3/4, back up to 30. Wire recorders. This one's in very good condition. Serial number 1147. This is in medium condition. Serial number 204. And this one can only be suggested as spare parts. Very rough condition. Serial number 1506. But that recorder is very unusual that in the back of it, it's instead of having a compartment for having microphones and power cables, it's got a bank of 5 large capacitors. Video of this machine, the EL3503. This one's the transistorized version. There is also a valved version. TV meters down here. 2 separate amplifiers. Now this one was in a rack. Somebody's made a wooden case for it. Keeps it nice and tidy. Some of the differences between the two machines, for instance, this record neon light here is not on the other machine. However, the other machine has got a brake release for editing. The other thing is that this machine hasn't been converted for high speed. So when you use this control here, you press play. The capstan's very close to the pinch roll. The pinch roll is very close to the capstan, so it gets a fast start and then drops into its normal position. helps with the editing speed, but also being so far away helps with editing, cutting and splicing the tape. With this machine, you cannot use that function because the capstan's been altered to fit a 30-inch. As you can see there, the capstan, which is that metal bit in the middle, is a lot larger than this one's. Also, this head cover comes right over, covering all the heads. This one, as you can see here, has been cut, possibly so that the user can mark the heads with Chinagraph, mark on the tape with a bit of Chinagraph the tape. Most times you open up the lid to do that, but the problem is that you can't do that whilst the machine's playing, because that hits the reels, the head cover hits the reels. One of the other machines that I've got back in working condition is the 3501. This is a machine that I've had for a few years, but I've never had it up and running. I bought it from a gentleman off in German direction, and he sold it to me working. Well, actually we did a swap, but it never worked the day I had it. It wasn't until I was working on the Philipses over there that I thought to myself, well, I had an inkling that there was a problem relating to the remote control, but in the back of the Philips, the other Philips, there's a shorted out pin. So, trial and error, and a lot of fuses, I found the link, which is that blue wire that I've added. And now, the machine powers up. Difficult to do this holding the camera at the same time. Just put the pinch roller back on it. But now, the machine's up and running. Pinch roller's got a nice effect to it. You press play and you notice it goes into position, then goes a little bit further. Seems to put on little pressure and then a lot of pressure once it's finished. The spooling. And there's a very smooth motor transaction here. As you can see, it's in play mode and the arms are out. You can push it down a notch and that will just give you sound on the replay head only. It won't allow you to record, so you can do sound on sound with that. Sorry, it won't allow you to record, so you can't do anything on the tape, or you push it all down all the way and then you'll be able to record. Press stop, go into spooling mode, see how the pegs come out. But now when you press stop, there's actually a motor drive drawing that back rather than solenoids pulling that back. So theoretically you can go into spool mode, but you can't go into play mode without pressing stop first. The meter is very, very slow reacting, but that's the way it should be. Disconnecting my audio input. You can see it falls away very slowly. With a quick attack. Scales. Basically, I made a set of scales, but they weren't the right style. Most VU meters nowadays follow this pattern where the meter doesn't actually, the scale doesn't actually follow the meter swing. And you can see here that it's more of a straight line rather than a sort of like elliptical shape. The B62, the meter scales actually follow the tip of the needle rather than what this A810 do.